Welcome everyone to Go Global World Global Pitch event and this new concept of selecting one or a few startups with the same industry at the same stage after they're going through our pitching program that is called Pitch to Global Investors. They then go to meet with investors from our global network. And before any startup would be invited to such a demo day, they have to be selected by our team of experts, and then they pitch to global advisors and experts and angels. They get 3 to 4 weeks to address all the feedback they received before they meet investors from our network. That's what's happening today. And I'm very excited to have RealRate team here and Holger, the founder of this company. So they will be pitching. And this will be only one startup today to make it efficient and very targeted for the startup and for the investors. At Go Global World, we connect startups and investors in an automated way, so you don't have to spend too much time on irrelevant startups that are not meeting your criteria, or founders don't have to spend too much time on finding the right investors. We automate with our algorithms and our team of experts to make sure that the right people meet the right people. Now, today, we will have a team of RealRate, Holger Bartel and Harald Bartel, presenting their company. They will have 15 minutes to present it, and the rest will go to questions. So if they finish earlier, then it's also fine. You can see their contacts in here, but we're also happy to connect you via email, so you can continue. Just let me know in the chat or some public link here, wherever you want. Any channel of communication will work for us to connect further. Now, what are the investors we have today? We have Dr. Wayne Lim, an investor from VU Venture Partners, TK Shimojo, investor from NTT DOCOMO Ventures from Japan, and he's based in Palo Alto. Sam Delisi, operating partner from Moderne Ventures, Nguyen, investor from Blackhorn Ventures, and Susanne Wedin-Schildt, angel investor from Keiretsu from Nordic AB, Christoph Archer, investor and founder of Systema VC, Vandana Jain, investment director, AVM Fund, and Matthew Stokey, managing partner of Oasys Capital. Now, to make it interesting and efficient for everyone, it's not only the pitch event, it's also networking for investors. Feel free to exchange contacts here in the chat, or if you would express an interest to connect, and so you want us to do an intro to each other, we are happy to do so, because we are also building connections, and we might be the ones who would help you connect. Now, before we get started, I invite investors to quickly introduce themselves and quickly say about your investment criteria, where you guys located, and wherever you think is important to share within 30 to 60 seconds. Who wants to go first among the investors?
Happy to volunteer.
All right, Evie, go for it.
Great. So hi, everyone. My name is Nguyen. I work at Blackhorn Ventures. We are a seed and Series A fund focused on industrial digital decarbonization. And what we mean by that is that we look for capital efficient, software-driven solutions that help advance resource efficiency and the energy transition. We focus on 3 different sectors: construction and the built environment, supply chain, transportation, logistics, and energy. We are based out of Denver and Colorado, but we have teams in New York, and I'm part of a team out in the California Bay Area as well.
Fantastic. Great to have you, Evie, with us. Who wants to go next? TK.
I'll go next. Yeah. Oh, can you hear me? Yep. Nice to meet you. I'm TK from NTT DOCOMO Ventures. NTT DOCOMO is Japan's predominant mobile operator, and we are helping US-based startups basically, and to enter Japanese market and have some business collaboration with NTT Group. But NTT DOCOMO Ventures also covers around the world besides USA.
Fantastic. Great to have you, TK, with us. And TK had been at multiple demo days at the Go Global World. So welcome again, and great to have you. Wants to go next?
Yeah, hi. My name's Sam Delisi. I'm the operating partner at Modern Ventures. Modern Ventures is a real estate technology-focused fund. We invest in companies that our definition of early stage is late seed to early B, and we only will work with firms that are generating revenue. We will invest at $2 million in revenue or higher, and our checks are generally between $2 and $7 million.
Great to have you, Sam. Thank you for coming, and excited that you are part of our demo day. Next, who wants to go next? Matthew?
Hi, I'm Matthew Stokey, a managing partner at Oasys Capital. We're industry agnostic and location agnostic. What we really look for is the largest market opportunity. Typically, we want in excess of a couple of $1 billion, so that even if you only get a small percentage of that, you can use the revenue multiples to get up to the unicorn status. So we invest in all opportunities, either pre-revenue or post-revenue. So it's great to be here once again. Thank you.
Fantastic. And one of the important things that Matthew is one of our sharks that we do weekly pitch events. And if any of you would like to become a GGW shark, we will email you, and happy to invite you to be also at our pitch events as GGW sharks. It's very similar to other Shark Tanks you're probably aware, but our way. Now, the next person would be Ron Theis. Ron, please tell us about yourself.
Hi, I'm Ron Theis. I'm an angel investor based out of Seattle. I run the analytics committee for the Alliance of Angels, which is the largest angel network in the Pacific Northwest. Sector-wise, I'm pretty agnostic. I love talking with early stage founders, though, and talking about pitch construction.
Fantastic. All right, great to have you, Ron, here, and looking forward to hear your feedback on this one. And we have a few more. I think Susanne, would you go next?
I'll be happy to, Daniel. Thank you for having me, and good evening or good morning. For me, it's the evening. I'm in Stockholm today, but I have one foot in Lisbon and one here. So that's me. So very happy to be here. What I do is I've been active across large enterprises in the corporate space. I haven't come in from finance, and I have been a part of the Keiretsu Angel Investor Network for a number of years. And with that background, then I've made a number of angel investments, but I've been fairly wide, but it's always been about sustainability. So I've done a femtech investment. I have a very successful investment in the vegan alternative protein space. I have one investment in consumer lending, and I also have an investment in a climate tech platform. I am a part of the formal board of directors for a company called We Don't Have Time, and I made an investment there myself. I also have founded an organization called Ocean Communities. So my investment thesis at this point is very much zooming in on the solutions for the biggest problems of our time. So my investments now in the ocean innovation space are quite different versus what I was used to. It's not about apps. It's not about exits 3 to 5 years. It's about hardware, seaweed as a technology, and what have you not. But I have a background with IT strategy, so I'm very tech interested. I believe that AI and those solutions are very important to leverage to be successful with sustainable investments. So that's me.
It's great to have you, Susanne, and it's from Stockholm, United States, Europe, Japan, and Stockholm. Fantastic. Now, two more people, Dr. Wayne and Vandana. So, Dr. Wayne, could you go next, please?
Oh, certainly. Thanks for having me here today, Daniel. Basically, I'm an investor with VU Venture Partners. The fund, it's a $150 million multi-stage investment fund, and it makes initial investments of $20,000 to $1 million and follow-on investments up to $15 million. I'm also a serial entrepreneur, and one of my startup companies is an ed tech company that I'm trying to sell. It's called CoreClick.info. And the other startup company I'm working on is a MarTech company called Navigance.com. So I'm enjoying my VC experience as well as starting up companies.
Fantastic. Great to have you in here, Dr. Wayne, and looking forward to hear your feedback. And the final person is, and tell me if I'm missing anyone, but it seems like not, we have Vandana. Vandana, please go next, and you probably the final person out of all the investors invited. Hello, Vandana. Okay. So then I guess we are done with the presentation of investors. We have global great investors are here that's willing to listen to Holger and his team. Before we get started, I just posted a small message in the chat. So for the investors, please, when you get a chance, it doesn't have to be now, maybe later during the event, just join our matching app for investor startups. And so this is a product that our organization is building, and your participation there is super important. So we will collect your criteria of how you invest. We'll know exactly what startups to provide you, and also connect you with the right investors based on your criteria to save you a lot of time. And your feedback will be super valuable for us. Now, Holger, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready. Thanks, Daniel, for having RealRate here. I just need to be allowed to share the screen. And a very warm welcome to all the investors. Welcome to the RealRate Demo Day at Go Global World.
Fantastic.
Let me share.
So you got 15 minutes, but if you can do less, that's awesome. Make it full, and you can start now.
I guess it will be a little bit less. So welcome again to RealRate. My name is Dr. Holger Bartel. I'm a serial founder. I've been working in online marketing and blockchain. And now today, it's all about artificial intelligence. So RealRate is the first AI rating agency. RealRate is a rating agency using explainable artificial intelligence to create fair and explainable company ratings. And our rating seals are an important means of marketing for companies to build trust with their customers. Well, and there's a backstory behind. So when I was working as an appointed actuary in the German insurance industry, I was talking to the rating agencies. And one day our big boss joined, telling the rating agency, listen, I'm expecting you to give me a AAA rating. If not, well, there are plenty of other rating agencies out there. And then he left. Well, and at that moment, I really understood the rating won't be fair, but totally biased instead. And this is a huge conflict of interest, and this is how a $10 billion industry is working. It's really crazy. It's like a pupil would ask his teacher to give him a grade. And of course, this leads to a huge conflict of interest. RealRate is here to change all of this. We hate it, we will change it. So at RealRate, we have our own award-winning artificial intelligence solution. And we have an algorithm that is trustworthy and fair. Plus, with RealRate, AI is not a black box. As an investor, you might see AI is yielding great results, but as a decision maker, it's difficult to explain why. So with RealRate, there's no AI black box. We will be competing with Standard & Poor's and Moody's and Fitch, but there are huge differences. So at RealRate, we use AI technology, that's an algorithm. Instead, S&P and Moody's and Fitch, they have a slow, cumbersome, human-driven process. We have a fair algorithm, and they're totally biased, suffering from a conflict of interest, which we also observed. I guess you still remember the 2008 financial crisis, right? So I could tell you a lot about the technology, but I guess the most important part is that with RealRate, you can understand the strengths and weaknesses of a company within just 2 minutes, instead of having to read like a 200 pages business report. And this is how it works. On the very top, we put in the publicly available audited financial data. Then, step by step, we combine it, and you see it here on the graph, to intermediate key figures. And finally, at the bottom, what we get, that is the financial health. We call it economic capital ratio. And this is the key figure we are using to rank all the companies within one industry. Indeed, this is our secret recipe. You see here the strengths, those are the green nodes, and the weaknesses, those are the red nodes. For example, this company is very strong when it comes to revenue from contracts with customers. And this is just a 2-minute summary of an annual report, all automated. We are really revolutionizing the rating markets. We have a totally different approach. So we do all the work first. So we are always rating all the companies within one industry. For example, we started out in Germany. We rated all 70 German life insurers. So the work is done. The process is reversed. And then afterwards, we reach out just to the top rated ones. And only those are allowed to subscribe for the RealRate seal of approval. And as you can see, it's never just one single standalone rating. We always are able to perform a complete benchmark, streaks, weaknesses and strengths analysis. We do have first traction, so the product is ready, it is on the market, and we're having first revenues. This is from our product market test in Germany. We had several billion-dollar insurance companies buying the RealRate seal of approval. So it's the Bavarian Life Insurance and Universal Life Insurance. And without having a big marketing budget, we were able to convince those billion-dollar companies. As an entrepreneur, you can imagine I was quite relieved after working like 3 years in a dark room developing the software. Then price is 10,000 K. So 10K, it's either 10,000 euros or dollars. We are active in Germany and in the US. We observed a 50% retention rate, but just now we switched to a B2B subscription model, so the retention rate is about to increase even more. We have an automated AI and a scalable AI fintech based on a B2B subscription model. It is not a B2B SaaS company, though, because we're not selling the software. We're just using our own software internally, and then we're selling the rating seals or the data. The market size comprises 15,000 strong, financially strong companies, and this could yield to a maximum of 100 million annual recurring revenue. We have an exit vision. We would like to sell RealRate in some years to one of the big incumbents like Standard & Poor's, Moody's, and Fitch for, let's say, 100 million. Go to market. We are launching and starting in high margin markets. Those are developed markets like Germany and the US. We started in Germany 2 or 3 years ago. Last year, we entered the US market. And the trick here is we are covering all the companies that so far are not covered by the big rating agencies. And you can guess, this is the vast majority. It's more than 99%. And among those, there are several smaller, medium-sized companies which are financially very strong and very healthy. And of course, they would like to show off to their customers, to their investors, but they would never imagine going to like Standard & Poor's and paying 150,000 for one rating and waiting 1 year to get it. Next step will be setting up a sales team. Indeed, this is the reason why we are raising. So we have done all our homework when it comes to the technology, MVP, product. Next step is really focusing on sales and marketing. On social media, we are investing, we are connecting on LinkedIn. So there we have all the B2B business contacts, the board members and the employees of the top-rated companies. In addition, we are publishing articles on the trade press to build bottom-up pressure to inform the public audience, the potential customers. So that's a two-sided approach we have here. Well, until now, I've been talking a lot about rating seals. And as an entrepreneur, it's important for me to get one product, the first product, ready and running, and that is selling rating seals. But I've been talking to many people and other investors, and they tell me, and they are right, we have a great technology that can be applied to even more use cases. So the technology we have can also be applied to perform internal credit ratings for banks, due diligence services for the mergers and acquisitions industry, and providing AI-based investment support. So the vision is huge. There's a lot more to come. I'm quite happy to be awarded being one of the top insurtech CEOs. We have an award-winning AI software. Indeed, we won the AI PyTorch hackathon. We are a winner of about 2,500 competing teams. We already participated in several acceleration programs like Startup Bootcamp, GSD Venture Labs in the US, New Chip, and right now, Go Global World. I'm very happy to have teamed up again with Harry. I've known him all my life. Indeed, he's my twin brother. So we founded several companies together. I am the CEO. I'm focusing on legal, finance, investor relations, and general management. And Harry, he is the tech guy and an expert in online marketing. He already had an exit with his company, Expert. Together, we raised from big names like Deutsche Bank and Amazon, Klingel, on Vista. So we already have a track record. And RealRate is raising money again. 1 year, a little bit more than 1 year ago, we had our European Business Angels round, raising 115K from 5 business angels and strategic partners. Now we have our seed round. Investments will be made in equity and in a Delaware C Corp. So we are a Silicon Valley AI startup. We are mainly raising from US investors, but we have an international focus. The reason is we want to enter the US market. Well, and I guess it's the perfectly right time to do AI investments right now. Everyone's very keen to learn if there's more than ChatGPT. Well, and when it comes to AI and finance and making AI explainable, RealRate might be a good choice. Thanks for your attention. I'm looking forward to a great discussion. Thank you.
Thank you, Holger, very much. A great presentation, and it's time for questions. Dear investors, what questions do you guys have for Holger and their team?
I'll start. Okay. Holger, sehr gut und vielen Dank. Ich habe 2 Jahre Deutschsprache genommen.
Sehr gut. Thank you.
I see on your slide that you intend to hire a sales team. Since you are a startup company, have you considered hiring commission-only salespeople? These are salespeople who only get paid if they close a sale, so you won't be burdened with their a salary or health benefits and so forth. This can be done through companies such as Rip Hunter. That Rip Hunter is a company for finding commission-based salespeople, and my startup company have used them before, and they're actually quite effective.
Really, very interesting. Yeah, indeed, I've been looking out for sales guys working on a commission basis only. I found it very, very difficult to get those. So that's why I'm very thankful for your recommendation. This is exactly what we want to try, keep costs low, and we can have hundreds of thousands of revenues a month. So finding some great sales guys profiting from it still should be a way to go. Thanks a lot, Wayne.
Mm-hmm.
Are there more questions, Dr. Wayne? Okay.
Yeah. I do have one more question. Holger, do you let companies that don't earn a seal of approval know what areas that they need to improve upon in order to get a seal of approval from you? Could this be possibly another revenue stream for you?
Yeah, very interesting. There's one incident. I got a call from a CEO of a German insurer, and it was the one being rated on the last place in our rating. So I was a little bit anxious, as you can imagine. We had a call. I explained him what we did and what he needs to change to go up in the ranking. He was enthusiastic. He invited me to a one-day meeting with his management board, and we discussed all of this. So even the companies which are not top rated might profit from the insight we provide, and this might be a second step we can go for. Yeah.
Excellent.
Thank you.
I have a question for you as well, Holger. So thank you for a good presentation. Quite exciting. Congratulations to your efforts so far. So one of my questions is, I just forgot about that. I made also an angel investment in, forgot about that, sounds crazy, right? In an AI powered edtech. I think when we look at AI, of course, we're all very impressed and excited these days. We also see the backside. My take on this, and I'm not an expert, is that OpenAI is OpenAI. So their challenge basically is the validation layers. And I'm very curious as to what makes your algorithm so robust and unique that you will be able to stay ahead through an unfair advantage versus those big ones that you're pointing at, you believe will be the ones buying you. Why wouldn't they go for simply developing one of these algorithms themselves? Because the ed tech I'm involved in, when they compare to the algorithm that OpenAI super team presents, that is where they are way ahead, because they've added so much in the validation layers, making sure that the integrity of the data. So this is my question, Holger, the integrity of the data that you're pulling. Is that where your USP is? Is that where you have your unfair advantage that will keep you ahead of your competitors? Because that data will be open for so many more. So how do you stay ahead of your competition? Thank you.
Yeah. So you should understand the way we do AI is quite different from what you might know from ChatGPT, OpenAI. If you say OpenAI, at least most people mean like big data models, large language models, millions, trillions of parameters being trained on huge amount of data. We are not working in this area. We're working with balance sheet data. An annual report is published once a year. So we have a really minimum amount of data, not just like Uber self-driving cars getting thousands of data points every second. The unfair advantage we have is we can even work with small data. We don't need big data. And that's because we have a mixture of an AI supervised learning model plus an expert model, like you saw, crunching together the data, combining two key financial figures. And this is embedded. And indeed, the graph you saw, it looks like a little brain, right? This is a neural network, but we impose the structure on the neural network. And by doing this is called explainability by design. We are afterwards able to interpret it, and that's the unfair advantage. It's not the fact that we are just restricting ourselves to audited data. I guess it's a good way to do, because, to be honest, when I was working as an appointed actuary, I cherry-picked each year the numbers that would be most well received by the rating agency. But that's number picking that would increase volatility of the rating. So that's not the main reason. But if you want to have benchmark comparisons, it's great to have audited data because the structure is the same. So that's another point.
So that means, just to follow up there, is that you mean that one of your key advantages then would be that you are going to work, not letting this sort of AI work on its own, you are going to be augmenting it with your expertise. That would be one of your unfair advantages for you to stay ahead.
Yeah, we are organizing the model. Totally right. Still, companies might be interested in running the same software in their company. For example, we're in contact with a big German bank. They are interested in private customer ratings, and they would like to have it on their place, of course. Another advantage here is that you're in the EU. You know, there's a huge discussion going on making AI fair, explainable, and the companies, that's the European AI Act, they in future need to comply with those laws. And if a customer asks, why did I get rejected? You should not answer it's because you're a woman. So you need to have the right models being accepted and having an explainable AI.
And it's very difficult to afterwards tune all the models to have this behavior. That's almost impossible. But with our approach, having the explainability by design, we are able to do it. It was a very idea from the very beginning, and that's important. So we started with this 3-4 years ago because we have been convinced that this is the right approach. Not only coming up with a number, a financial strength, but in addition being able to explain it in a very easy way to everyone, so everyone gets it and can confirm and validate it.
All right, thank you so much. And the next investor is Ron, has raised the hand. So Ron, go for it.
Yeah, so thanks for presenting this. I think it's a super interesting idea, and so despite the comments that I'm about to make, like I think it's an interesting, because I think the core technology, that slide 4 or 5 with the different colored bubbles, that is the interesting technology, and I would suggest that a seal of approval is the wrong way to monetize that. I think those financial companies that are interested, I think that is. I think you can get $10,000 per employee at those financial companies to be able to say, given a certain public company, show me that breakdown and then show it to me over time. Because for each of those values you've got, that's been changing. And I want to see how this tracks. I don't want to have to read 50 years of financial statements to get this info. You guys have it. Show me how that has changed over time. Show me just the 5 the gold mining companies that have a low GA expense, and that's the sort of thing that you could offer, and I would suggest that will be a far more lucrative avenue of business.
Yeah, thanks a lot. That's so interesting, and I guess you're right. So we started with a rating seal. We will try it, but we are right now working on making a data package we can sell. Right now, we are covering 20 industries in the US. That's about 2,000 stock-listed companies. By the end of this year, we will be covering like 50 industries. That will be 5,000 stock-listed companies. That's the vast majority. The latest, then we will have a nice package we could sell to data providers, because we then would really cover a whole country, and that might be interesting to a lot of investors, right? Thank you, much appreciated.
Yeah, sure thing. I would also be interested in knowing, have you tried to back test this? Go back and say, given all, decades of data, not just current companies, but looking at the ones that failed, and to say of the 30 German insurance companies as of 1970, the bottom 5 failed, like here's why, right? And to say these our financial estimates correlate to real world success or failure, that might be worth trying.
Yes, Ron. Unfortunately, we have exactly one such experience. So there is a German life insurer. They closed for new business 2 years ago. And 4 or 5 years ago, they were quite at the bottom of our list. So that worked, unfortunately.
All right. Thank you so much, Ron. And are there more questions from other investors?
Yeah, I have a couple. Keeping in mind with YouTube, rules, how many multiples will it take for this vision to become complete? How much total are you going to need to raise using, multiples of what you told us earlier?
Yeah. So the round we have right now, that's for sales and marketing. In a follow-up step, and unless we already sell it to an incumbent, that could be the case. In a second step, we might raise even more in order to build a brand. But to be honest, that's not what I really want to do, because other companies, they already have a brand. We have the technology and a new approach. So selling it would be a better approach. I did it once. I spent like, on the first company, we raised 1 million Deutschmarks. We spent most of it on online marketing. That's not something I want to do again, to be honest.
Okay, so this will be is this going to be the final raise, or are you going to need to raise multiple times after this before the sell off?
This could be the final raise when it comes to a sale to an incumbent in the market.
Okay.
Perhaps this depends on how strongly we want to investigate other areas we could use our software for. If we want to do huge investigations and go to market trials even, perhaps some more money. But right now, the topics Holger listed in his presentation, that's our focus. So the rating approach, plus perhaps later on M&A and bank internal financial ratings. But theoretically, the software is amazing. It's a new type of AI. It could be used somewhere else, but no strong need to do it within this company, but the opportunity to do so.
Okay, and how customizable is the financial health aspect of it? Like, let's say I'm an investment company. I'm interested in purchasing the financial health of a particular sector, but I don't necessarily agree with the weight that you're giving certain aspects of it. Can I fiddle with that to get it more in line with how I see things?
In fact, we already have a side project, so the consulting for a big bank, and they came up with 70 different key figures exactly for this reason. So that's what we are working on. It looks like it's doable as a short summary.
And Matthew, if you are a financial expert, yes, you could fiddle with it. We have one simple file consisting of the mathematical equations. So a very simple one would be all assets add up to the assets under management. So if you can define those equations, you can define your own model and then you can run it. Yeah, but it needs financial intelligence.
Okay. And remind me again, you're not really in the US right now, or have you just started there?
Yeah. So I'm in Düsseldorf right now. Harry is in Berlin. We started out in Germany. That's RealRate GmbH. That's a German limited company. And 1.5 years ago, we founded RealRate Inc. in the US. That's a Delaware C Corp, and that's the mother holding right now. So officially, we are a Silicon Valley startup. All our employees are all over the world. We have developers in Asia and Netherlands. So that's what we learned from COVID. So we are a decentralized company right now.
Yeah, but you've got you were talking a lot about the German insurance market. I'm just trying to figure out how many markets in the US you're currently in.
Yeah, so we are covering 2 industries in Germany and 15 industry in the US. And but we have no revenues yet in the US. That's why we want to set up the sales team.
Okay. And how long does it take to kind of develop a new develop the reports for a new vertical?
Yeah, so it took us 2 months to adapt to the US market because they have US GAAP accounting standards. That's quite different from what we have in Germany. So that's not the main pain point. The main pain point is data availability. In the US, every stock listed company is obliged to file with SEC. In Germany, they need to publish to a register. And what we do right now, so if you are from another country, what we could offer is we would more or less manually read in the most important key figures from an annual report and still benchmark that company with the companies we already have. So we could answer those questions, and we did it for companies in like Kazakhstan, Vietnam, and India already.
So adding a new vertical is not a big problem. Perhaps it takes 2 or 3 weeks to have a special look if there's something that's special about how reporting is done for this vertical, but usually not a big hurdle and doable.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Well, that's all my questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Matthew. And we have more people. So Sam, do you have any questions?
How is this rating taking a company's carbon footprint or ESG process into account, and how does that work?
Unfortunately, ESG is not yet part of it, but just 2 weeks ago, I had a long call with ESG data providers because I really would like to include this too. When I was young, I raised up in Berlin. There was a Berlin Wall. When the wall came down, we planted hundreds of thousands of trees. So I really would like to have this included into the rating. Data availability, again, is a problem here.
In a standardized way, that's the issue. It needs to be similar across all the companies, otherwise it's worthless.
Okay.
I have one quick question. So in the market you are entering, there are obviously big existing players like S&P and Moody's, and large company that will be your customers might be content with the rate they've already gotten from these institutions. So how do you make these clients paying money to you? Because they would say, yeah, we don't need to additional rating because we've already get higher rate.
Yeah. Let me jump in. Keep in mind, it's only 1% that uses S&P or Moody's, and 99% don't have anyone. So addressing the 99% first would be the most meaningful step.
All right. Evie, do you have any questions?
All my questions have actually been asked today, so thank you.
That's fantastic. All right. So are there more questions to Holger and RealRate team?
I have a question. Holger, you mentioned that data auditing requires internal teams of 3 people, 150,000 a year. How about another benefit that you offer is the shortened cycle time using your system? Have you had a chance to measure this?
Yeah, so I've been in contact with auditors in the US because they are performing really like those large reports being like 400 pages. And they like the idea of having like a first run with our software, identifying strengths and weaknesses, and then still going into details with their human experts. So it's not a complete contradiction even for them.
Okay, thanks. And finally, have you compared your AI output to human analyst output? How accurate is it on an absolute basis? And your data will expire. How often do you expect to refresh the data?
Yeah, we update them right now once a year. In future, if there are companies with quarterly reporting, we might do it 4 times a year. What we did is to compare it, whether it's really explaining something, is we ran a regression and we investigated whether the RealRate rating is able to explain stock market prices just with having like old, outdated annual report data. And we got correlations of about 30 to the best case was 90%, but that's more an exception, to be honest. But that's still great, because now if you would add the latest information and the discussions on the market, you could really explain reality, and that's what we like to do. And right now we already can explain a large amount with just like 30 key figures from a balance sheet report, which is 1 year old.
So you measured explainability using perhaps R squared?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Do we have more questions before we close this demo day session? And please, if so, please speak up if any other questions. Fantastic. Dear investors, dear Holger, dear Harald, thank you so much for making this demo day successful. And the next steps will be, I will be reaching out to investors with contacts of RealRate team, and if any of you would be interested to connect with this team, we'll be happy to do an introduction so you can directly continue with this team with your further question steps and wherever necessary to make this new industry growing successfully. Well, thank you, Holger, for answering, and Harald as well, answering for these challenging questions. You did great. I think this team of founders deserve investments, and we look forward for your success. Good luck with your race, and most importantly, good luck with the growth of your company, because you're changing, creating, and making value in the world. So thank you for everyone for your participation. We'll follow up with further steps. Thank you, everyone, and have a great the rest of the day.
Thanks a lot. It was a pleasure. Bye-bye.
Thanks much.
Thank you so much.